First off, happy Friday. I'm so honored to be here with these three incredible creators to discuss the future of the creator economy. So I thought it'd be a really good setup to start with going through some of the trends that we're seeing lately. Particularly, I think the top three trends in the future of the creator economy. One of the first things that I was thinking about as this discussion is unfolding is, number one, direct monetization between you and your audiences and what the impact of Bitcoin has for that. The second is this idea of non-custodial platforms that you will be developing on your own platforms to be engaging with your audiences, not governed by a central authority and doesn't have the ability to be censored. And then the final piece, and I think one of the most important pieces, is this idea of peer-based governance versus platform-based governance. And we had an interesting situation happen with Jack over there on the other stage, which this idea of just Twitter shutting people down and the idea of censorship and not letting the platforms have that choice, but letting the peers of your audiences have the choice. So I'm excited for that setup, and I'd love to kick it off with you, Blondish. Tell me what you're doing in the space around these topics.
Hi guys, how's it going? I'm honestly, where do I start, I guess? I don't know, like I guess growing up, I never really felt comfortable in the system. It's on, the mic is weird. I don't know, I never felt right. I didn't know where I was going with it, but the mic keeps going off.
Yeah, we got something with the mic for you, I don't know. Can we check on that?
Can you hear me? It's going on and off.
No, you got it.
All right. So I didn't ever felt right in the system, so I guess that's why I'm sitting here today. And everything I do with my music, honestly, I just realized that it's to bring more happiness and abundance to people. Ah, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, so I just want to bring happiness and abundance to people, and I do that through my music. I'm not just a DJ. Typically, I thought I was just a DJ, a producer, became an activist about the environment, and now I'm realizing I just want to bring all the tools of cryptocurrency and what Bitcoin can do to everyone in my community so that we can be abundant together in happy, happy world.
And over the last year, you've transformed what Blondish has become over the past year because how you've built this direct connection to your audience. So talk about that strategy. Like, how did you start building this relationship with your audience so intimately since COVID?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, a lot of us DJs, and I mean, a lot of industries can probably relate to this, but we were like cockroaches, like upside down when COVID hit. So we were forced to rethink everything because our main revenue stream was touring, international touring. And at the same time, international touring is all about, you know, it takes a toll on your mental health. So it's not sustainable. So COVID gave us a chance to rethink all that. And Tony Robbins reached out to the music industry and did a little talk. He was like, guys, I can help you. So he did a little 1-hour talk, and he asked us, he's like, this is what you guys need to be thinking about right now, is how are you bringing value to your community and your fans, and how are you bringing them along in your journey? When he kind of said that, I went deep into the Twitch game, and I was connecting with the audience, just bringing people positive energy through the music. And that's where it all kind of started, because then you can start playing, you know, there's so many different experiments you could do to figure out how to bring them along your journey and, you know, that direct to audience relationship.
Beautiful. Adrian, so people haven't heard from you in a while. This is, and you're at a Bitcoin conference. You're going to be talking about the creator economy at the Bitcoin conference, and I'm intrigued by your angle here. Like what, you know, they haven't heard from you. You've kind of gone through this transformation process. Tell us what you've been working on and why Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've been deep in a hole of transformation in Austin. That's where we met. But I just wanted to comment on what Blondish said because it really resonated with me. You know, really, when you think about the creator economy, it's not about money, you know, for artists. It's really about communicating an idea, and really artists define a culture, a spirit of who we are and what we want to be. It's really the money that's the barrier that keeps the society, people, from the artist. So technologies like Bitcoin have given us all an opportunity to access the art that we want, that we care about, that inspires us. And for me right now, I'm putting all my creative energy into impact. So I started an impact company, and we're investing in Bitcoin and other technologies that break down those barriers, give more equity, more access to more people of the world's, not only the world's wealth, but also the artists. We want to give the voices, give those voices that want to define who we are and what we want to be the opportunity to speak loud. Yeah.
There we go. That deserves a little bit of that. Cryptograffiti, one of the most impactful artists in this space.
Appreciate it, man.
You are a legend in most senses. And tell us a little bit about your journey and your thoughts on what's going to be happening with the creator economy in relation to what you do as an artist for the world.
Yeah, so longtime artist in this space, and to see this grow to 12,000 people and even just the art exhibit itself be so big is like amazing. I think art's just incredibly important for spreading movements. And what we're starting to see now as our culture develops further and further is there's a lot of different revenue models that can come from using Lightning payments and micropayments. And that's really how I got my start. So like pre-Lightning, I was really taken aback by Adam Back's work with Hashcash. And the idea there where microtransactions can do very cool things like thwart email spam and DDoS attacks. And that inspired me to really dive into the space and try to apply it to art. And so now with Lightning starting to flourish, there's so many different ways that it can help out creators that I'm really excited to try and use it in a manner that can get us away from these ad-based platforms that really just kind of suck the soul out of society, right? They're jeopardizing our privacy, our time, and our concentration in so many different ways that I think if we can shift to a micropayments network and all the different social platforms, it'll create huge impact in focusing more on the art and not take away things that are really crucial to humanity, right? So a lot of different things in the works. To just see Bitcoin grow like this is absolutely amazing. And so I'm excited to contribute in any way I can. You know, I do a lot of different things in the space and try and support to just spread adoption. So happy to see you all here.
The thing we were talking about in the back is this DJ model that you were sharing around music and Lightning. So can you dive a little bit into that specific project that you were describing and how, you know, there was insertion of metadata into the song? It's fascinating on how a producer and an artist can be paid through Lightning.
Sure. So Blondish can probably attest that the royalty space for musicians is just screwy. And it goes back decades where it used to be that labels would even go so far as to sign an artist just to shelve their project because they had a similar artist and just kill their career just to make their other person shine. There's a long history in trusting third parties, and they end up being security holes, as Nick Szabo would say. So what I did, I created a plugin that's available now on LN Bits, where if you're a DJ, essentially a curator of good music, you can use it to split any payments that come through during your set. So it's a way to directly peer-to-peer pay musicians for their work. And so a cut goes to the DJ for introducing you to the music. A cut goes to the producer for making the music. You can also download it if a certain payment threshold is met. And I think this peer-to-peer methodology is really the future because people want it. They don't want to kowtow to all these different platforms which have so many different restrictions. It's really ridiculous. Like if you're a DJ and you're trying to live stream on YouTube, you have to jump through all these different hoops and like slow down a track to try to avoid the copyright bots. And that's not like what the producer wants to have their music represented as. The stream will get shut down. It's ridiculous. So there's all these different pitfalls that come with being creators in the space and kind of like succumbing to this ad-based model that is really killing creativity and makes you like just conform to what they're doing, right? So peer-to-peer, more like grassroots platforms I think is the future. And excited to hear more about what you're working on and others, because that is where this is going. So one other thought. So Twitter, I think Twitter's kind of getting there, right? So Jack is like, he's talking about experimenting with tips. I feel like if not from the ground up, it may be a major player like Jack, and we might have like an A/B test type of thing, and it'll be on us Bitcoiners to support the artists and the content creators with the B versus the A to really make it happen. Because I think it's important for humanity. So yeah, exciting times ahead.
It's so important, right? I mean, I just realized something. As soon as we get rid of the intermediaries, we will accelerate into the creator economy because we have more space to be creative, right? Woo! But more like Fitty Boy, Elizabeth, thank you. Fitty Boy, like he started that Twitch integration where you do the donations to the artists as well, right? Through the Lightning Network, and you can actually have the alert that comes up. You can leave a message, which gets rid of PayPal and all that kind of jazz. But I have a question to you guys, and I'm not in finance. I'm a creator, but I just want to gobble up all the Bitcoin I can. I don't really want to spend my sats. So how do we? I love to receive them as tips and donations, of course. But I don't necessarily want to spend them. And does anyone else think like me? Like, I'm using it as a hedge against the legacy system right now. It's not.
I have a response to that. I think right now, because Bitcoin's so volatile, because it's new and people are looking at it as almost like a trade, and they're looking to actually make money off of its growth. Eventually it's going to settle down and it's going to be the currency that we use. It's not going to have that volatility. The tools will exist for easier trading and actual practical use of it, and you won't be as afraid. So hang in there, breathe, you'll get there.
I think he's hopeful. I like that. I think we're all particularly hopeful.
Yeah, so I use my Bitcoin to I take loans against it. You know what I mean? Because I value that as a store of value. You know what I mean? So I don't want to use it to spend it right now. At least that's my strategy.
Yeah. So I've noticed that if you take all of your payments in Bitcoin, it gets a lot easier because then it's circular, right? So one of my buddies, Clubhouse superstar John Fakori, he says if he introduces someone to Bitcoin, it's because he loves them. And so I kind of see that the same way, where I don't mind paying people in Bitcoin because I'm just receiving Bitcoin, right? And so it's a lot easier to stomach if it's coming in as well, because that's kind of where we want all this to go, right? So everybody, if you just ask your employers to be paid in Bitcoin, and that will help us push ahead. Because I get it, if this is going to go up in value, then you want to hold on to it, but it's a totally different story if you're just earning Bitcoin.
Yeah, but you're also seeing the Bitcoin as future dollars as opposed to Bitcoin, and I think where we need to get to philosophically is it's not going to eventually become dollars, it's just going to be Bitcoin. So once we get out of that mentality as we're going to sell our Bitcoin for dollars are out. Tangible money is on its way out.
And I think the interesting thing about all these systems, it's also the operating system that it sits on, right? Lightning as an operating system, the ability to have channel states to move payments between people. I sometimes think of Bitcoin also as an app store, right? There's the ability that we're going to start seeing these layered applications used on these systems to be able to transact, to stream sats, to do all these different things. Adrian, talk a little about the ranch. Talk a little about the ranch and Bitcoin. Because I find that as a little fascinating model that you're tinkering with. We've talked about this for a while.
Yeah, so again, for me, it's about lifestyle, how I'm living, how I put my energy every day into what. And so as of the past couple of years, I decided that I wanted to focus more on the things that are vital, which is family, community, and nature. I do a lot of environmental work, and you see a lot of the problems, and you want to solve them out there in the world. And I realized that if I want to see the change out there, I got to start right here. In fact, that's what this is. I got this last night. Someone gave it to me. It's from the inside out, right? And so I decided to start a community. So I bought some land in Texas, and we're inviting people to come build and live together and work together to be more sovereign, more independent, grow food, the whole thing, and also to use decentralized currencies to keep our wealth and our value localized so that we can trade with one another very, very hyper-locally and have full transparency so that we're not trying to exploit each other and profit off of each other through subterfuge and ignorance. Like, we want to have full transparency, and that's what Bitcoin does, is it gives that level of transparency, hyper-localization, and access to everybody within the community.
Beautiful. I was thinking about who is going to be here today, and I thought it would be interesting for you as creators to talk about what you would like to see in the future, right? Because we have developers, we have companies, we have people building the Lightning Network, and hearing from creators on the things that you'd like to see. You'd like to see entrepreneurs like ourselves and engineers bring these things to life. What do you want to see in the future, and how can we create it for you? Anyone can start.
I'll take it. So I think the more decentralized, the better. And so, for example, there's just not a lot of platforms in the space that are Bitcoin-centric. Scarcity is doing an amazing job for bringing together collectors and artists with their Lightning-based platform. And there's others as well. But if you look at some of the altcoins who are funded by these pre-mines, which bring them hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, we're kind of doing it on hard mode, right? So support the creators and bring about more platforms, because I think it just shines a light on the creators and gets their work out there more often. So I love what you're doing and bringing about more money to the space. And with the decentralization, there's the possibility of doing, like, every person that runs a BTC Pay server instance can have their own auction platform. They can do bidding, run an instance, and just sell anything that they want on their own without any trusted third party. That for me is like the ultimate in terms of price discovery, right? And so a lot of cool things that could be done that really speak to the heart of what this is all about and not having to rely on anyone else. So yeah, also art grants would be amazing. There's a lot of grants for developers, which are incredibly needed. I think art helps spread movements, needless to say, right? And so if we could have more funding in that regard to help bring about a lot of these platforms that we're discussing, would be awesome.
Beautiful. Vladish?
What was the question again?
What would you like to see in the world be created by the engineers, the entrepreneurs, the people in the crowd that are building these new systems?
Sure. I would like to see kind of I work a lot in intersections and creating movements. So I would love to see when the creator economy kind of intersects with the attention economy, with Bitcoin, and how that's going to like move us into the exponential age. You know, like there's something there that's already been started that I've actually been living, and it just creates these endorphins, and endorphins is fossil fuel free gas. You know what I mean? And it just like it's real. It's like something that we create, and I just want endorphins happening everywhere through the creator economy, and that's where all the magic is, and I can't wait to see that.
Beautiful. Yeah. Give her some love on that. Adrian?
You know, we all have a default conditioning of money. We've all been trained very well by our current economic system. So I'd like to see us all to take a little bit of time to heal our relationship with money itself, because I see money as an abstraction of value, and I'd like to see these tools be used to bring real value, tangible value, felt experience and value more in line with these tools. To really look at, you know, these are tools of how we actually exchange true value. It's not just zeros and ones or numbers. It's actually things that we exchange. So let's focus less on the wealth accumulation and the, you know, what it is, the abstract representation of the value, and get more one-on-one interpersonal about what it is we're actually exchanging and why. It's a human-to-human experience.
I love it. I think there's somebody in the audience that might want to ask a question. And I think I'd like to potentially even open this up for a discussion. And if we could, you want to come up here real quick? I'll give it right back. You got a mic for her? What's your question?
A lot about impact investing, and there are 3 disciplines of impact investing. That is, we call the 3 T's, which is time, talent, and treasure. And in the experience economy, we are looking at ways to reduce the noise by creating disciplined experiences, so I can more directly connect with you. Now, talent we are needing to value our human relationships better. So to better engage with each other, we need to find moments of art and connection in order to calm the noise and find a better way to connect with each other. And then treasure, you're creating art. And what I'm doing is I'm working
What's your question?
My question is what kind of frameworks are you thinking of in order to follow a disciplined approach to approach these new economies? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is that to me? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a magic that we lose when we're focused on money itself. And so for us, it's about being able to honor the immeasurable value that we create through art. So I would say, put your focus, buy more art, listen to more music, dance with your friends, all the things that really bring value to the world. Like, these are the things that we need to start focusing on, not just how much you have, what you've accumulated, but really the things that are interpersonal in nature. And artists are the ones who are bringing that to us. So yeah, definitely give more to your artists. And be an artist. You are a creator. Sing more. Dance more.
Should we meditate now?
What?
Should we meditate? Do some breathing exercises?
Breathe more.
I mean, I can tell you how I'm doing it. I always think about how can I involve my community or bring my community along with me along the journey to a happy, happy world. So, I released an NFT series yesterday, Chakratastic, and it was, it's, if you look at it, it's art. It's music made in 432 hertz, which is language of the universe, and it's paired with some 3D art. So I give you something familiar, but there's access behind it. You know what I mean? There's so many tools and things, a world that opens up now to the person who has that art that I'm bringing along them on the journey to abundance. So it's about involving your community more along the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a trend that happens when you get, whether it's in the art world or inside, this direct connection with the artist turns your collectors into collaborators, and there's so much to explore with this relationship, and it's creating new business models. So one person I want to shout out, Guy Swan. He has Bitcoin Audible, who I'm sure some of you know. This experiment that he's doing, he records himself. He does VO of various articles that come out over the course of a week. And he'll have people send sats to try and do like a Disneyland fast pass, which of the articles should get bumped to the top of the line. And it's a great example of using your community to determine what route you should take as a creator. There's like positives and negatives with that, right? Where if you might not be into having your vision forwarded in some way, but if you know that it's either going to be X or B and you put it out there as an artist and you involve your community, it creates this dynamic that really is different than if you have like an art dealer that's between you. So yeah, the entire creator space is shifting as artists and musicians are tasked with doing more for themselves online. The idea of paying a dealer 40 to 50% to to really not do as much as they used to when artists are doing so much with social media anyway is pretty archaic. So we're starting to see trends that are going to be here for the long term, and I'm all about it because it's to direct to your people. It's less money going to other people, and it's an exciting future for creators.
So what do you, I'd love to kind of, as we're closing, what does the future look for each of you individually? What are you most excited about over the next 12 months? You're all working on amazing projects. And what will we see come out over the next 12 months across your specific verticals in the creator economy?
I'll make it short. I honestly am figuring out how not to travel so much. So basically there's this hologram kind of technology, so I can play and I can be in many places at once, but it has mass, this virtual character. And then I'm also like creating a virtual character to exist in the different metaverses to kind of cross the space-time continuum, because I want to, for the environment and all that, there's so much you can do with a virtual character in the metaverses, like pushing your message, and it's kind of like the Blondish Crusader kind of thing, and I can give ownership through an NFT or whatever to my community, so we can kind of save the world together, kind of thing.
Beautiful. Cryptograffiti?
Test. So working on a number of different projects that try to really address the shortfalls of the current status quo, right? So with this split lightning payment project that I started out doing with DJing, it applies to a lot of different industries. So currently working on a documentary that's all about people's origin stories with Bitcoin. And it was really inspiring for me to hear Andreas Antonopoulos' story about how he got into the space and the trials and tribulations his family experienced in Greece. So I'm recording that are in Bitcoin to hopefully inspire others. And regarding the split payments, probably going to be like some cool lightning functionality, like imagine a Brady Bunch style screen where if you only wanted to hear certain people, you can click on them, send a payment, and that payment would automatically be split between myself for creating the doc and the person who was interviewed. And so that kind of speaks to this like points system that the industry has, which is more relegated to stars, where it should be democratized, right? Like everyone should be able to benefit from being involved in a flick, and they'd probably be more on board if they knew that there's the potential for future earnings. So just trying to push forward the space and using the technology that we have, and really just focus on Bitcoin to do so.
Find me on the ranch, wrangling snakes and growing big fat zucchinis and using Bitcoin.
I love it. Thank you all so very much. You guys are so impactful. We're so excited for the future with you. And thank you everyone for spending the time to be here today. Have a nice day. Enjoy your conference.